It's been a while since I've done one of these, so I thought I'd go back to doing a bunny rant. And this is a long overdue topic. I've written it multiple times, but the artificial lengthening and padding of video games. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, I'm going to give you a perfect example right here. This example is take a JRPG. You're 30, 40 hours into the RPG. You're doing the final layer of the big bad you've been fighting the entire game. You get to the end, you fight the big bad, you defeat them, and as soon as they're defeated, their benefactor appears. The benefactor casts you out of the dungeon, creates an even larger final dungeon. But nope, you can't face them yet. Now you got to go back across the world and find 6 MacGuffins, and if you don't find those 6 MacGuffins, you can't continue on, adding 10 or 15 extra hours to your play quest, along with extra steps and so much other stuff you have to do just to find each of these MacGuffins. And that's not even hypothetical. It just happened to me this year on a game that was just released in 2024. And this type of crap has happened so many times over the years. I remember people used to claim that boss rushes are also a type of padding like that, something that's just there to artificially extend the time you're playing a game. A great example is I don't agree with it totally, because the Mega Man boss rushes show you how much you've improved and how much better you've gotten. But I can see it where in shooters and other things are where you get to the end of the game and, oh look, I have to fight every boss I've already fought all over again just because they want to add a few extra minutes to the game. And this can be seen everywhere. Nintendo and Sega are notorious for this. So a good example for Sega are the Sonic games, and I'm just going to toss them all out there. I'm going to throw them all under the bridge with this. A couple of really huge ones for me was Sonic Unleashed. Sonic Unleashed is you can't go on to the next level until you find enough sun coins and moon coins. You find sun coins in night levels and moon coins in day levels. You have to get enough sun coins to get to the next day level and enough moon coins to get to the next night level, and after you've finished enough of them, you can move on to the next world. And it literally stops the gameplay because you have, in the speed zones, you have to stop and look around and find out where the moon coins are just so you can do another action fighting scene and vice versa. And it just keeps getting larger and larger. Sonic Lost Worlds was extremely notorious for this when it was first released. When it came out, and this was obnoxious, it was tied directly to how many enemies you've killed. Each enemy you killed would drop I think it's a pretty, or I don't know what the name of the animal was, a little animal. And the little animal would then go to your full score. And there were times where it's like, oh, hey, you can't do the next level until you get 2,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 more of these little animals following you around. So it was just ridiculous where you had to go into special stages and go back to the older stages and refarm them over and over and over again just because they thought their game was too short. Mario Brothers is also notorious for this. And this is going to be a point of contention. There are versions of Mario games where you get the stars. When the star is the main objective, that's not padding. That is absolutely not padding whatsoever. But if if the level actually has an official ending where you have to do a flagpole or a field goal hoop or whatever it is, you cross the levels over, and then you have to go back and grab optional items throughout the level, then that is padding. Super Mario 3D World was also notorious for this, where you get to the end of the game and you can't face the last few Bowser's levels just because you didn't find enough. I think they're green coins or green stars in each level. I even watched a gameplay from Grumps go through this, and they had the same problem. They got to the end of the game, they didn't have enough of the green stars, green tokens, they could not beat the game, and they had to go back to the earlier levels and play through it.
Oh, we don't have enough green stars, dude.
Holy shit! Where do we get more?
Kirby is also notorious for this. Like even Kirby Frontier, it's easier in their levels, but you had to get so many MacGuffins per level to unlock the next set of levels. And since I was so anal on that and I love the game so much, I didn't notice it. But I can see people who are just trying to speed through it having trouble with it. And then we have games where you have to find everything to beat the game. Two right off the top of my head are the original Rayman game. You can't beat the game without finding every single one of those little spark dudes. Once again, my brain just out of it. But lums, if you don't find every lum and unlock every lum on every level, you cannot face the final boss. Same thing for Super Princess Peach. If you don't find all 3 toads in every level, you get to the final level and tells you, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't find all the toads. You got to go back and do it again. This is artificial padding, and it ruins the game in my opinion. I actually liked it in some of the Sonic games where, oh, hey, you didn't get the best ending because the game will actually give you an ending or let you play through to the end because you didn't find all the stars. And then it goes, oh, hey, go back, you'll get a better ending, or a little bit more to the game, but not just say, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry, you're just dead. You're gone." Another great example of artificial padding nowadays is open worlds. Ubisoft, I'm looking at you with this one, where everything is nebulous out there, and just to try and add extra length and extra time to your game, they add things like, "Oh hey, yeah, we have it so that you have to find random bird feathers everywhere, and then you'll find a main quest where it's like, oh yeah, we're sorry, you can't get past this part of the game until you find 20 more bird feathers, or you do so many side quests, or you do etc., etc., etc." And it's just gotten out of hand. I understand that people want value for their game, but there's also no problem with a shorter game. I enjoy games that are 3 to 10 to 20 hours long because I can fit that into my schedule. I can enjoy the games, and if, like Resident Evil, after you've beaten the game once, which might take you 10 hours, you can replay it multiple times and get better and better and better at it. I think my best time is an hour and a half of beating the original Resident Evil. It doesn't have to be an epic 80-hour experience every time, and you don't have to constantly add and bloat your game out. And that's the problem, is that companies seem to think, oh, our game's too short, so we got to just throw all this random crap in there. And it ruins the games. The hypothetical I gave you earlier, or excuse me, the example I gave you with the JRPG earlier in this discussion, it brought the game down from a 9 to 6 at most, maybe a 7, because it just dragged on. Like, part of finding the MacGuffins was doing a DDR rhythm game 4 times in a row. And if you missed one note, gotta do it all over again. Gotta do that portion again and again and again. And it even sucker punches you like, oh, do you want to lower the difficulty so you can miss one note? Screw you. I have a contention against that too. That's another sin of gaming that really needs to be addressed. Anyways, yeah, this is just something that needs to be brought up. Companies need to learn that shorter games are fine. As long as you make the game worth playing and it's fun, people are going to want to play it over and over again. They'll get their value from multiple playthroughs, or seeing how good they can keep, or keep the objectives optional. For instance, if I just want to race through a Mario Brothers game, let me just go to the end of the level. Don't make me go back and have to find every single green token, green star, or whatever just to get to the next level because you felt it was too short. No. Leave that in there for the people who are the completionists or who want to add that little extra bit of challenge in for them. That way you can address both. Well, hey, the game's short, but we have all this extra optional, beautiful content for you to go back and play and do. It's that simple. And thank you for hearing me. And if you like this, please like, subscribe, send a comment. That would all totally help me out. Thank you all. Good night. And as always, stay awesome. Stay absolutely awesome.